Hey, it's Megs,
And Jax.
and this is your spoiler warning.
We are popping in to let you know that some of the books we discuss in this episode may contain information you don't want to know until after you've read it.
So be sure to check out the episode description, read the book, and then come back and muse with us.
We can't wait to see you soon.
Hey, it's Megs,
And Jax,
and this is Musing Over Mugs.
where we'll be musing over all things books, life, drinks, and adventure related.
And tonight we're musing over Tessa Bailey.
Tessa Bailey!
Woo, 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 woo. The other one I have on my ebook that I'm going to pull out. Got notes on it.
But before we dive in, Megan, I gotta know, what's in your mug?
Oh, hey, look at your mug! I have vanilla honey chamomile tea because I have been hungover for the past 3 days.
Excellent.
Your mug?
My mug, I don't know what it is. It's a cocktail with mezcal and Empress gin. And for those who are not watching this but listening, it's my Just One More Chapter mug that Megan got me, which is why she was squealing.
I was. And I'm gonna tell the story that you went out. I think you were at a party or something, and you came back and you were like, "Did I drunkenly order a package that I'm drunkenly receiving?"
Yes, because I came home and it like didn't have any sort of description on the box. It was just kind of like a blank box sitting on the deck, and I was like, I don't recall ordering anything, but I could have. And then there was like a very tiny note in there, and I was like, it's from Megan!
It's for me.
Because she's the best.
It
And
was.
we overly support one another.
We do, and we use the excuse, and you are all welcome to use this excuse, that it doesn't count as us breaking our own budgets when we're buying a gift for our friend.
Exactly. Book buying bans do not exist if you buy books for each other and gift them.
Yep, we've done
This
that.
is sound logic.
We've done that with books. We've done that with socks about books and mugs and all of the things.
Yep. It's a good time.
It is a great time. Highly recommend it. But speaking of book buying and book adventures and all of the things, we met Tessa Bailey.
We met Tessa Bailey. It was a really great book adventure day. We got up at Balls AM, drove to the Cape for the day, had ourselves a day. We sat on the beach for hours. I read, you had finished it the night before, but I read My Killer Vacation, which for those of you who don't know, is Tessa's latest book and takes place on the Cape. So that's why she was signing on the Cape. So felt like a very fitting spot to dive into the book. Spent most of the day. Got through probably half of it, I think, before we got there. Or not, before we got to the book signing. And should
We're
we
going to
say...
keep going. No,
Okay.
Listen, for those watching, I will be muting myself and coughing. You might see it on camera. I apologize.
It's fine. But yeah, so then we went on over to the Barnes & Noble in Hyannis, where we got to meet Tessa, and it was magical.
It was magical. For those of you who are not familiar with Tessa Bailey, she is a steamy romance author. I believe, what did that sign say? Like the Monet of... There was like a sign at her signing.
Hold on.
The step and repeat.
Of course, we are blocking it, so I can't see what it says.
The Michelangelo of something. Oh God, we're such assholes.
Oh, no. Hold on. Is it on our website, you think?
Tessa Bailey, I hope so, because that's where I'm going.
That's where I'm going.
But Tessa Bailey has been a writer forever. She has some great things. She's a New York Times bestseller, USA Today bestseller.
The Michelangelo of Dirty Talk.
There you
By
go.
Entertainment Weekly.
There we go.
Found it.
She's got a very funny TikTok that she also puts on her Instagram. And we have read this summer, so it's August right now. I think this episode will go up in October, if not maybe a little sooner. But we've read her 3 latest books this summer in pretty quick order. We read It Happened One Summer. We read its sequel, Hook, Line, and Sinker. And then, as Jax just said, her latest one, My Killer Vacation. It Happened One Summer and Hook, Line, and Sinker are part of a series. My Killer Vacation is a standalone. And then she was signing on the Cape when we got to go meet her.
We were very excited. So she had released, this is kind of a backstory to this. I think back in like June, maybe, she had posted on TikTok and then therefore on Instagram that she was going to be at, I think it was called Perks, in Harwichport, which is around the corner from my girlfriend's condo. And so we were like, perfect, we're going to go down for the day. She's right down the street from the beach. We're like, we go to the beach, we can shower at her condo, then we can walk on over to Perks and it'll be amazing. And then it ended up moving. And it was still great, but thankfully we hunted it down and found the information for the Barnes & Noble event, because otherwise I would have been devastated.
So we got to go to a new beach that neither one of us has ever been to. It was beautiful.
The staff was great.
Staff was so funny. And then we drove the 8 minutes over to the Barnes & Noble, and we got there probably a half hour before the event was supposed to start, and the line was already wrapped aggressively around the store.
Yeah, it wove in and out of bookshelves, and then around the front, and then down the side, which is where we got into line. Mm-hmm. And they came around with wristbands for everybody who's in line, and tickets if you had brought your own books versus were buying books. And then we just waited. And while waiting, I devoured almost...
I waited.
Meg waited. I read almost the rest of the book. So probably about a quarter of the book in line. And if you don't know Tessa, her books get spicy. So not only were we reading spice in public, but we were reading spice in line where everybody knew exactly what I was reading. And I don't think I was very poker-faced about it.
She was not. So there's a spoiler warning at the beginning of this episode. We're obviously going to talk about the books. But there is a scene in My Killer Vacation that takes place in a church. If you know, you know, and we know. And that's the part that Jax got to in line.
As I was reading, as I walked up to her, I was like, I need to finish the chapter. And then I had to hand her the book, and I was like, I'm so sorry the cover's deformed now because I've been reading it all day.
And it was great. It was funny. And the people in line with us were so wonderful. There was a woman from Western Mass who had moved to the Cape to be with her boyfriend, so it was a very romantic thing there. And then in front of her was another woman who brought her boyfriend along as a supportive book boyfriend. We love. And the people behind us, there was a dad there with his daughter, which was kind of weird, but it was fine.
Very sweet.
Sweet, yes.
As long as he doesn't understand what the book is.
We love supportive parents. It's fine. But overall, it was like such a great day. Do we want to talk about what Tessa put in my book?
I was going to say, I thought you were about to say, do you want to talk about the books? And I was like, no, we got to finish the signing story.
Okay.
So we got up there. And first of all, I just want to say, I've only gone to a handful of signings, but Tessa was unbelievable. She took the time to chat with each person that came up. There were people who had 1 book signed. There were people that had like 8 books signed. Had no sort of limit on that. Was super courteous, very nice and chatty. Then got up and stood and took a picture with everybody in front of her backdrop, which I thought was so nice because I've been to signings where people, they just stay seated and you have to kind of awkwardly hover over them. And I just thought that was so kind of her. And she made it a point to get the spelling correct for everybody, which leads us to Megan's story.
So I go by Megs here on the podcast and on our Bookstagram, and happy to do so. It's a family nickname. I don't think anybody's called me that outside of my family until we started this.
I still have trouble. As you've noticed, I've called you Megan the entire time we've been doing this episode.
Right. No, that's totally fine. So Brian doesn't even call me Megs. He calls me Megan. But my name has all of the letters in it. It's Meaghan. And I have been saying it for almost 37 years. So I say it really quickly. And she signed My Killer Vacation, and my name is perfectly spelled in my Killer Vacation. I have a lovely, you just open it up and there it is. And I got a little heart sticker and it's lovely. And then she went and we were telling her the story about how we met and that we started the podcast, which she was like genuinely interested in, which was just heartwarming. But because of that, she kind of stopped paying attention to how to spell my name, and she messed it up. So to make it okay, she put a dick in it.
But the best was she was writing it, realized she had missed the G, and then was like, oh, I need another copy. And then the girls were like, wait, but this was your personal copy that we had brought. And you were like, yes. And she goes, oh, I can put a dick over it.
And when Tessa Bailey says, I can put a dick in your book, you say yes. Immediately, no hesitation.
Not even a lick of hesitation. It's just like, absolutely. Please do.
Yep. So she had messed up. She missed the A, so she made the A into a G, and then she's like, nope, we're just gonna take that G and make it into a penis, and she did. So if you're watching on YouTube, you will be able to see this. I'm holding it up, and if you're not watching on YouTube, maybe this is the episode in which you go to our YouTube and you watch.
We'll also put a picture on our Instagram when we launch this episode, but
absolutely,
it was the highlight of the trip.
You know, it was one of those things because then your sister had texted us about something with a club, and we were just like, we have wristbands, and I got a random dick, so we're just like...
Basically like at the club.
Basically at the club. We were at dinner, drinking tequila. It was all lovely.
It was great. Best night.
It was wonderful, and...
And then those tacos.
Okay, you say the tacos, which were delicious. Tell them about your favorite part.
The dessert. I mean, well, the drinks were also delicious. The tacos were amazing. But one of my weaknesses, well, most of my weaknesses, I think, are desserts. But they had fried ice cream on the menu, which is something I love, and I will never say no to. I had zero room for dessert, but I was like, let me move one stomach aside and plop out the second one because we're getting it. And so we got the dessert. Now, fried ice cream, for those of you who don't know, is a ball of vanilla ice cream rolled in usually like Frosted Flakes, corn flakes, something like that. Coconut.
Like coconut, yeah.
Deep fried. Magical. Covered with hot fudge and whipped cream. Amazing. I love this ice cream. This thing came out. It was a fried ice cream ball in a fucking fried dough bowl. So the whole... It was like... The bowl was filled with whipped cream. I couldn't even find the ice cream at first. I had to like dig around. Oh my god. It was orgasmic. It was the best thing ever. I ate the whole ice cream. Meg took one bite, and I was like, because we also got churros with the intention to split both, and then we just ate our own separately. We're like, nope, it's happening.
It's fine. We took a bite of each other's, and then
we're like, nope, back to our respective homes, and
do what we do.
Ate all the ice cream, ate a chunk of the bowl. Oh, it was just next level.
And then we rolled our way down Route 6, back to 93, and got home.
That was a rough drive home. It was like a 16-hour day when all was said and done.
But so worth it and so fun.
It was so worth it.
Which was like the reel was super fun to make and ridiculous, and you've all seen it by now. It's our national international book lovers reel.
I thought you were talking about the reel that we had intentions of making, that we took one video clip for. We're like, yeah, we're gonna put it together a whole, not day in the life, but like a spliced up version of the day. And then we only took footage of the drive, like the going over the bridge into the Cape, and then forgot to film literally anything else.
Yep. No, when I said we made a reel, we actually made it.
We did make...
We had intentions of making more.
We only did the one.
You know what? 50%. We're fine.
I'll take those odds.
Yeah. But I think the thesis, the moral, whatever you want to call it, is if you have a chance to go meet Tessa Bailey, do it.
Absolutely. Hands down.
She's so kind, so wonderful. Asked us about the podcast. So hi, Tessa, if you're listening or watching. We love you. Just to pick up her books. She's got, I think, 3 coming out in the next 6 months?
I think so.
She had a big announcement maybe last week or the week before. I don't know. Time doesn't matter anymore. And also this episode comes out in October, so whatever. But yeah, so pick up her books. They're fun reads. We're going to get into the 3 that we've read this summer next. And yeah, go meet her. Go say hi. Tell her we sent you.
She's the best. Highly recommend.
Absolutely.
Let's kick it off with It Happened One Summer.
Okay.
So do we want to go synopsis, ratings, individual, and then mugs, and then discuss?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so It Happened One Summer. The synopsis from Goodreads, as you know, I will read. And I apologize for my vocal fry. Mostly. It's a fun night. That caused the vocal fry. It's all good. All right. Piper Bellinger is fashionable, influential, and her reputation as a wild child means the paparazzi are constantly on her heels. When too much champagne and an out-of-control rooftop party lands Piper in the slammer, her stepfather decides enough is enough. So he cuts her off and sends Piper and her sister to learn some responsibility running their late father's dive bar in Washington. Piper hasn't even been to Westport for 5 minutes when she meets a big bearded sea captain, Brendan, who thinks she won't last a week outside of Beverly Hills. So what if Piper can't do math? I can't do math either.
Me neither.
And the idea of sleeping in a shabby apartment with bunk beds gives her hives. How bad could it really be? She's determined to show her stepfather and the hot, grumpy local that she's more than a pretty face. Except it's a small town, and everywhere she turns, she bumps into Brendan. The fun-loving socialite and the gruff fisherman are polar opposites, but there's an undeniable attraction simmering between them. Piper doesn't want any distractions, especially feelings for a man who sails off into the sunset for weeks at a time. Yet as she reconnects with her past and begins to feel at home in Westport, Piper starts to wonder if the cold, glamorous life she knew is what she truly wants. LA is calling her name, but Brendan, in this town full of memories, may have already caught her heart. Tessa Bailey is back with a Schitt's Creek-inspired rom-com about the Hollywood it girl who's cut off from her wealthy family and exiled to a small Pacific Northwest beach town where she butts heads with a surly, sexy local who thinks she doesn't belong.
Dun, dun, dun. It was magical.
I loved it.
We both loved this one. So we both gave this book a 4.5 star. And our Musings rating was a 5, which a 5 mug means it was amazing, couldn't put it down, perfect, wonderful, and leaves us wanting more. Would recommend to anyone.
And everyone, that's you, the listeners and viewers.
So hopefully you've already read it, and you also loved it. It was so cute. It's just like a funny, quick read. We both were smiling from ear to ear the entire time. I definitely got the Alexis vibes as we were reading, so I love Schitt's Creek, so I loved it.
It was wonderful. The only thing that would have made it better for me is, like, switch your coasts, make him a Maine fisherman. I grew up with an LL Bean boyfriend, and it's fine.
It's
me on the East Coast.
We loved it. There was Grumpy Sunshine. We loved how Piper came into her own, how she fixed up the bar, and we loved the side characters. Hannah, her sister, Opal, and Abe. They were just perfection. So not only do you have great main characters, but when the side characters are equally as amazing, it's a recipe for success.
Absolutely. And it was like the dialogue was quick and funny and witty, and the slow burn wasn't like super slow.
I know, we had Spice pretty up front, which was lovely.
Spice was good.
Spice was good. My only gripe with the Spice, and this is not any sort of critique of Tessa, it's just in general, I personally cannot stand pet names when they're like baby, sweetheart, like those kind of things, especially in the Spice scenes, like pulls me right out. So like there was a lot of that going on. So I didn't love it, that specific word. There was a lot of baby being used. But aside from that, I mean, the Spice is phenomenal.
Mm-hmm. We enjoyed. So Piper, she's my queen. I love her. And she, like, there was some, like, emotional moments that you really kind of connected, and you could, like, okay, I could see this, like, actually being a thing. And, you definitely see her go from that party girl to, like, being a fully formed, like, grown-up, making grown-up choices and taking responsibility for things. And it was wonderful.
It was.
And then there's the sequel.
Hook, line, sinker.
Hook, line, and sinker. May I remind you?
Bum, bum, bum.
Mine has a dick.
Mine does not. I did not have this one signed. I only had...
I think you had it with you, right?
I didn't. No, because I had only brought... It happened one summer, which I got lips. I got a kissy mark sticker. And then I had her sign my clarification.
Do you want to read the Goodreads synopsis, or do you want me to?
I'm going to have to pull it up, but I can.
Okay.
I feel like you just popcorned to me like they did in like elementary school, and I was the kid that when, you go around.
What are you talking about?
You didn't play popcorn?
No.
Oh my God. So it was it's a horrible thing that people used to do in school. So you would be reading, they'd make you like read aloud to the class, and it was like, say you're reading from a book and you would read however far. And then they'd be like, popcorn, Megs. And then you would have to then pick up wherever they were reading from and continue on till the teacher then popcorned someone else. And it was horrifying because I was the kid that when you would go around the row, I would calculate out how far people had to read, and then I have to like, you know, pre-read it so I could like make sure I wasn't going to butcher any words. So if I start fumbling,
I can read it. I'm happy to. I didn't know.
No.
That's terrifying. And like, no wonder everyone in our generation has anxiety.
I was going to say the trauma it caused me. I'm still thinking about it however many years later.
God.
All right. Hook, line, sinker. Bellinger Sisters number 2. King Crab Freshman Fox Thorin has a reputation as a sexy, carefree flirt. Everyone knows he's guaranteed a good time, in bed and out, and that's exactly how he prefers it. Until he meets Hannah Bellinger. She's immune to his charms, looks, but she still seems to enjoy his personality and wants to be friends. Bizarre. But he likes her too much to risk a fling, so platonic pals it is. Now Hannah's in town for work, crashing at Fox's spare bedroom. She knows he's notorious ladies' man, but they're definitely just friends. In fact, she's nursing a hopeless crush on a colleague, and Fox is just the person to help with her lackluster love life. Armed with a few tips from Westport's resident Casanova, Hannah sets out to catch her co-worker's eye, yet the more time she spends with Fox, the more she wants him instead. As the line between friendship and flirtation begins to blur, Hannah can't deny she loves everything about Fox, but she refuses to be just another notch on his bedpost. Living with his best friend should have been easy, except now she's walking around in a towel, sleeping right across the hall, and Fox is fantasizing about waking up next to her for the rest of his life. And man overboard, he's fallen for her, hook, line, and sinker. Helping her flirt with another guy is pure torture, but maybe if Fox can tackle his inner demons and show Hannah he's all in, she'll choose him instead. In the follow-up to It Happened One Summer, Tessa Bailey delivers another deliciously fun rom-com about a former player who accidentally falls in love with his best friend while trying to help her land a different man. Hey. I loved this one. Not as much as Hook, Line, Sinker. I would put it slightly below that. This is the first one I think that Megs and I disagreed on rating-wise.
Like, strongly disagreed on.
You gave it a 3, and I gave it a 3.75. Because I couldn't give it... It wasn't up to par with It Happened One Summer, but I still loved it. And I think I loved it so much because I loved Fox and Hannah. Like, I loved their characters in Hook, Line, Sinker. I mean, in It Happened One Summer. So, like, I loved that they got their own book.
I love them in Hook, Line, and It Happened One Summer. I like that they got their own story, but I had a lot of issues with this story. So I did give it a 3. However, now that it has Tessa's signature and penis in there, we're going to knock that right up to a 3.75.
Look at she's catching up.
Boom. You know... I was
the things a penis will do.
So maybe don't listen to this episode with your children. It's fine. No, I had some issues with this. Everybody needs to go to therapy, the miscommunication trope. But we had close proximity. We had the playboy. We had the innocent girl who doesn't drink, but apparently she drinks all the time. My favorite character in this book was Christian. Christian was the movie star. Were they doing a movie? Yeah.
Yep. So Hannah works on she is an assistant to the producer.
Yeah, she's a PA.
Or director.
She wants to be a
sound mixer, right? She wants to work on the soundtrack.
Yeah, music coordinator.
And she ends up saving the movie, so she's really quite the badass. She picked the new location, which is why they are now back in town. She ends up coming up with this whole plan to save the music because the person who was in charge of the music wanted to keep... It was supposed to be set in LA, very industrial kind of vibes, and she didn't want to change the music once they changed locations, and Hannah was like, absolutely not. That's not the vibe here. We got to change it. And then she came up with this whole thing. It was amazing.
Mm-hmm. Love that. I love that part of it, but it just like maybe if I had read it as a standalone, I would have liked it better, but because I read It Happened One Summer first, like my expectations were super, super high. And then super prologue spoiler here, you thought she was going to die with the moose.
The moose! That's not a prologue. That's the epilogue. I was so confused.
Oh, God.
What do you mean? Yes, I really did think... I was... You know what? And I was kind of enjoying it because so at the end, obviously there's happily ever after, they get together, it is a romance. And then you skip to the epilogue and it's like, I think 10 years in the future and they've got kids and they've got this house in the woods and it's this whole adorable thing. And she's like coming in, it's like Christmas, she's coming with packages, and she's walking towards the door, and there's a moose, and she like can't get the keys. I think she dropped the keys and like couldn't get them back up, and I'm like, Tessa's gonna kill her. She's gonna kill her by moose. Oh my god, way to throw that happily ever after right on its ass. Like, I was so like, I didn't want her to die, obviously, but I was like, look at her being bold and doing something different and like killing characters off. Oh my god. And then
you know what? I probably would have liked immediate 5, just because it's something different,
something
right?
that no one, at least none of the books I've read, have done yet.
Especially in like the rom-com genre, where
Well,
like
because the romance, like the romance book, like by definition, has an happily ever after. That's it. So it was. I really thought she was going for a second there, but she did not. She's still around. So excited to see. I don't know. Are there more books coming in the, or is it duology?
I think it's duology, because we got to the future. So I mean, unless there's a spinoff with like maybe the kids or something.
I don't know. But it was good.
But as a pairing, go read these. They're fun. You'll get through them in like a couple weekends probably, or a day at the beach.
I was gonna say a day each.
But they're fun. You're definitely gonna like It Happened One Summer a little bit more. They're making It Happen One Summer into a movie.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Pretty sure it's a movie, not a TV show.
Which will be fun. I can't wait to like see that.
I can't wait to find out like who they're casting and all that jazz. Like I love when it starts leaking. It's gonna be good. It was a really cute book, cute series. I loved all the characters. Again, the side characters are amazing.
Christian.
So, Opal.
I
loved Opal.
Opal has my heart.
It was cute.
And yeah, I mean, Hannah goes through some like she kind of reconciles with her past a little bit, which was nice. And look at the cute cover.
Always a cute cartoon cover. These are
like the sneaky tattoos and the music and the whole thing. So definitely pick this up.
Pick both up. I know Megs doesn't love Hook, Line, Sinker, but I recommend it. It was,
I don't, but it has a dick in it from Tessa, so
that's it. It was like Megan said, I don't love a miscommunication trope, and so there was a lot of times where I'm like, everybody get therapy. If we all got therapies, this would be solved. But I did appreciate the growth that the characters had, and I think both of them really came to their own in the end. Like, Hannah had some stuff to go through. Fox, for sure, had some shit to go through. His kind of happened really quickly for me, which I know you only have so many pages in a romance book, but in the end, we all got there.
But maybe if he talked about his feelings, like with anybody ever.
Therapy is great. Everyone go get a therapist.
Go get your therapist.
My Killer Vacation. This guy is an itty bitty baby book. I was so shocked when it came, because I don't pay attention to things when I'm ordering them. I'm just like, another book by Tessa, added to the cart. And it came, and I was like, oh, it's like a little baby. It's only 300 pages, $2.90. Such a quick read. Again, read it in a day while furiously standing in line. Popcorn Megan, you can read this one.
Okay, happy to. Let me get my Goodreads out. Probably should have had it queued up because I knew this was coming.
Oh, we did not. Before you move on,
we didn't rate.
We gave our ratings, but we didn't give the mug rating, which was a 3.5 mug on Hook, Line, Sinker.
And that was because my 3 brought it down.
Yeah, we try to average them out and then like duke it out based on the rating scale. So that was around. It was great, enjoyable, not super impactful. Wouldn't necessarily read it again, but would recommend. It's kind of where we're at.
Maybe, but I mean, we do recommend it. So
we do recommend it, because then that evens out with the 3, which was not our cup of tea, but maybe you would like it. So I loved it. You didn't. Not your cup of tea. So
not my cup of tea.
Even them in the middle. Tessa, we love you. Please don't hate us.
Please come on our podcast and talk to us about your books and your process, or just whatever.
Just come chat with us. Just have cocktails.
Come chat with us about drinks. Like, come on, we're fun people.
I can't wait to do Bellinger sister drinks. That's gonna be so fun. We're gonna have to do that. I think we have. So, as we stand now, again, this is being recorded in August. It's probably releasing in October. But we are deep in ACOTAR cocktails. And then we're going to do a Love Hypothesis cocktail, at least one, probably 2. And then we should probably we should do Tessa's.
Yeah, 100%.
I'm into it.
Okay, cool. So my killer vacation, an all-new spicy murder mystery from Tessa Bailey, New York Times bestselling author of It Happened One Summer. It was supposed to be a relaxing vacation in sweet, sunny Cape Cod. Just me and my beloved brother, but discovering a corpse in our rental house really throws a wrench into our tanning schedule. Womp womp. Now, a rude, crude bounty hunter has arrived on the back of his motorcycle to catch the killer and refuses to believe I can be helpful, despite the countless hours of true crime podcast listening. Not to mention a fulfilling teacher career of wrangling second graders. A brash bounty hunter and an energetic elementary school teacher, the murder-solving team no one asked for, but thanks to these pesky attempts on my life, we're stuck together, come hell or high tide. Oh, I just got that. I'm just here to do a job, not babysit an amateur sleuth, although it's becoming less and less of a hardship to have her around. Sure, she's stubborn, distracting, can't stay out of harm's way, but she's also brave and beautiful and reminds me of the home I left behind 3 years ago. In other words, the painful hunger and protectiveness she's waking up inside of me is a threat to my peace of mind. Before I sink any deeper into this dangerous attraction, I need to solve this murder and get back on the road. But will fate take her from me before I realize the road has been leading to her all along?
Oh, we love it. Even as you're reading the synopsis, I can't stop smiling. It was just such a cute book.
It's adorable. So we have Miles and Taylor, we have Grumpy, and we have Sunshine.
We've got Cape Cod based, we got murder mystery, we got a fuck ton of spice, and of course, our girl Tessa Bailey. So, we both gave this guy a 4.75 and a 5 mug.
Listen, as someone who grew up going to the Cape every summer, there is no way on God's green earth, or whomever you think is out there, there's no way on the face of this planet that Cape Cod is going to be like, no more renters. Their entire economy is based on it.
Their entire economy. So that's why we knocked at the 0.25 star on our individual ratings, because there were just some things that like didn't add up, like the rental piece. There was a note about pricing being cheaper on the week after the 4th, which any time in the summer on the Cape is astronomical. There's unless you own something, there's no way you're renting.
And also, Miles goes back and forth to like Worcester and like
record time.
Like no, it's just.
But it's fine. I will overlook all of that because I loved it.
If we didn't live here, it'd probably be like 5s across the board. But that like one little piece of realism that is just like too real, because we've all sat in that bridge traffic and just hated everyone around us.
Yep.
And it took me out of it just enough that I was like, all right, we gotta demerit here. But oh my God, the rest of it was wonderful and amazing. And
so good. It starts off like immediately with them being like so smitten, like not smitten, but like the tension starts building immediately where they're like, ooh, I shouldn't like her, but like she's kind of hot. And it just grows from there.
You find like the body on page 10. Like,
oh yeah, it was jump right in.
You jump hardcore into this, which was wonderful. My concern for Miles is that he is going to get kidney stones because that man eats a lot of Tums.
Yep.
For like the first half of the book, that's all he's eating.
Poppin' Tums.
And I'm like, you're going to have pain. Real bad.
Real bad. But it was so cute.
And as someone who also listens to a lot of true crime podcasts,
I know. It felt so relatable.
I also feel like I could solve.
Exactly. We could definitely solve a murder. So, makes perfect sense that she would want in on it.
Between true crime podcasts and Law and Order, fucking got this.
And, what's the terrifying show? This is going to drive me nuts. I used to watch it aggressively. I'm going to think about it.
Okay.
I'm going to have to Google. I can picture the guy's face and everything. Hodge?
Dateline?
No.
Oh, you're talking about Criminal Minds?
Criminal Minds! Oh my God.
You know that's coming back.
That show was so good. And I don't know why. I know. Sorry, guys. I have zero self-control when I get excited about something. Here's another tangent for you. Janelle, my sister, and I watched it a lot growing up. I don't know why. This was like our show that we would binge. And there was one day where we watched like hours and hours and hours, like from dawn to dusk. And I remember we had to like leave to go get dinner or something. And I remember like getting in the car being like, this kind of feels like an alternate dimension. Like, where's the bad guy going to pop out of? It feels really like scary out here. Criminal Minds. I'm glad that you knew that.
I watched all of it during the pandemic. It's a good show, and I'm excited to.
And there's like a million seasons. I feel like there was a lot.
Yeah, there's like 15 seasons. And Janelle's gonna be so excited you mentioned her name on the
podcast.
Know.
She was very upset that we called her my sister. We did say Jan, but it was Brendan. Brendan wanted a shout out. So hi, Brendan.
Hey, Brendan.
Thanks for watching.
Subscribe if you haven't. We'll know.
We will hunt you down.
All right, so we gave this 4.75, 5 mug. The dialogue was so funny. I was like cracking up through this book. We already talked about the spice. 2 like real good spice scenes. One in the church and one in the shower. What else do we want to say about this aside from please go get this immediately because it's wonderful.
It was so good. I think the only other thing I wanted to note, not necessarily about the book, but my experience with the book, was this was the first book that we've buddy read in a way that like we were physically together. Like typically we've read the book, like we'll either read them at the same time and like discuss them via, text or email, not email, but usually text or FaceTime or something like that. But this was like, you would finish it the night before. I was actively reading it and live reacting, and I'd be like, like on a page, like giggling like a toddler, like blushing, and you were like, "What part are you at?" So it was so much fun to like actually read them physically together.
Like when I said, what was it, page 220?
Yes, and you knew the exact page number.
Yeah. Oh, I'm right. It is 220.
I was like, 220.
Her palms right up my chest. Yes, you do. Copyright Tessa Bailey 2022.
It was, I mean, we're just big Tessa Bailey fans overall. Mm-hmm. Like, all of them are great. We cannot wait for her new book that's coming out. We've applied for an ARC. Don't think we'll get it, but who knows?
If we do. Y'all will be among the first to hear about it if you're following our Instagram at Musing Over Mugs. Yeah, this was fun. And I think like this book, if you're kind of new to maybe like romance books, this is a fun one because you get that like murder mystery, whodunit.
Is there a police chopper going by? There is for sure. That's a low helicopter. That's going to be med flight.
Yeah, there's a bunch of hospitals near me. God, someone's going to show up at my fucking door one day. I live near a bunch of hospitals, so I do get the helicopters, the med flights, every so often. And our windows are open because the heat wave broke, so... and I'm sure you heard people screaming on the street earlier, too.
Welcome to Boston. We don't believe in soundproofing.
Oh, God, no. Our buildings are too old. Our buildings are 130 years old. Soundproof what? What were we saying? Oh, yeah. So if you're new to kind of that romance genre, this is a really fun book to get into. It's funny. The dialogue is quick. And you have that thriller aspect to it. It's a little bit more lighthearted. But there's still like that aspect of it. And then there's, the ending's very funny. And embarrassing for all. So yeah, check it out, pick it up, go to your local bookseller.
Go follow Tessa on literally everything. Her TikTok, as we said before, is amazing. So
if you don't have TikTok, that's okay.
You can follow her on Instagram.
And if you don't have Instagram,
get with the times.
Meet her in person. Go meet her in person. Go Google. Find her signing. Apparently she does signings in all of the areas in which her books take place. So keep that in mind.
And the next one's in Napa. Hey. So I'm thinking we take a musings trip. I love wine country.
I love wine. And maybe we just ask her to be on the podcast.
We have to get a little bit more of a following for that.
Listen, you won't know until you ask.
That's true.
But yeah, so that is all things Tessa Bailey for now. I'm sure
We
we'll
are.
do more.
Absolutely. We are big fans of Tessa Bailey, so.
And we actually get to see her again next week.
Yay!
She's not in person. She's doing a Q&A thing with our other BFF who doesn't know that she's a BFF, Allie Hazelwood, for Barnes & Noble. So we're going to be virtually attending that and talking about that on our Instagram. So make sure that you've already seen that post that has been up for a couple months as soon as this episode comes.
This is the problem with batch contenting.
And we're not even like batching it, and I think we're just releasing every 2 weeks. So when we record an episode, we do tend to date ourselves a bit, but it's fine.
It's fine.
Plus, who knows when people are listening? They could be listening in like 2 years.
True.
Podcasts are forever. The internet never forgets.
That's a terrifying thing.
Yeah, I have to remind people at work all the time.
Yep.
Like lockdown privacy settings.
And that's why we work in marketing.
Hey. Cool. Well, thank you so much for joining us today on All Things Musings. Nope, that's not the title of our show. Of Musing over Tessa. Musing over all things Tessa Bailey. So far.
That was good. Do you want to take it again, or we're going to keep it?
Oh, I was going to keep it because it's ridiculous.
Okay,
but
perfect.
we can take it again.
Be sure to rate, subscribe. I will never get this right. I can't. Like, subscribe. Do you like on a podcast? I listen to podcasts. I've never once done something for it, so now I feel like a bad podcast person, but...
You are going to subscribe and rate and recommend this to all of your book friends.
That's what you're going to do. And if you didn't like it, please don't leave us a rating. Instead, DM us on Instagram and tell us what you didn't like so we can improve. But we are fragile souls, so we don't need you shredding us to pieces on the internet.
Yeah, just send us some like constructive feedback. And I know that I coughed earlier. I muted the mic. It's fine. And I know I have vocal fry. I don't need other people telling me that.
It's fine. You know what? Doesn't cost anything to be nice, people. So
Does it?
go out there, be nice, go read Tessa Bailey, and we'll see you soon. Cheers!
Cheers.